Hey, feeling good, like I should. Been in dope to walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And today we got two here in the studio. I feel like a guest since I haven't been here in like 3 weeks. My apologies. Anyways, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Usually we have our moms on Mother's Day here at the radio station, but you know, everyone's doing their own thing, so that's pretty cool. Just want to say happy Mother's Day to everybody out there, and happy Sunday. But before we get to the show, I just want to get started on our sponsorships.
SNJRadio.com, no negative news, no politics, just feel good music. Clash City Entertainment. We're still looking for a venue, but when we do, we're going to start throwing more shows and get back into the swing of things.
There you go. So welcome back, everybody. You guys, welcome to the station, to the studio. I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves here in a second, but I just want to let everyone know that we're actually gonna be moving our show again to 6 p.m. instead of 4 p.m. So if you guys
starting next Sunday
at 6. But if you guys want to go back and listen to any of our shows, previous shows, or get an update of our future shows, just look up KCAA Whatever Works on basically everything. So Instagram, Apple Music, YouTube. And
now, as of this week, we're on Kick.
Yeah, we're on Kick now.
Yes, we're on Kick. We've always been on Rumble, and then we're still on YouTube.
Yep. And if you guys want to watch us live right now, just look up www.kcaaradio.com. You can watch us live here on the screen. All right, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves.
Yeah, it's your boy Nabian.
Quite the introduction. This is Cam Archer. All right. Howdy, guys.
So actually, Nabian and Cam Archer, they've known Kyle for a while, right?
Yeah, about 10 years.
10
this year.
That doesn't seem accurate. No. It's probably like maybe. Actually, you know what? Maybe a year less at that.
Yeah. Maybe 9 actually.
Maybe 9 years. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 9.
Still far too.
So what's the relationship between you guys here?
Well, I used to work for a venue called Clash City Station. I've mentioned it a lot of times before. Started off as a bouncer, and then I worked my way up to stage management. So that's how I met Cam, through Blue Chips.
Yeah, I started throwing shows through Clash, back when it was still Cat's Alley, and then when it got to Clash City Station, and we met each other there. This was many, many moons ago. It's getting further in the rear view, man.
Yeah.
That venue, man, it was like a year.
Right.
It was pretty crazy.
And what about you, Nabian?
It was the Clash City event.
Yeah. Clash City is where it all happened, or
Clash City is where it all happened.
Thanks, Kev.
For everybody?
Yeah, pretty much.
Clash City? Really?
Yeah.
So, tell me what was then to now what is now. Like, I know you guys, like, Clash City is like building back up, right? But how are you guys participating in the music industry now?
Nabian.
Not participating in the music industry. Actually, I'm over it.
You left your cap in the car. I don't know if you noticed. He's trying to make his exit from the music industry.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, people keep
and yet
bullying me.
Every week I see a new post. It's my new record.
Well, here's the thing. I put in a lot of groundwork over the years. So a lot of records that you're hearing now were actually made like 2020, 2021, 2022. Shoot, there might be one from 2017 that might drop.
So people are coming up to you like, hey, I need some. You're just like, all right, let me just pull it out of my back pocket. Like, you're not producing anymore, or?
Yeah, I'm kind of just. If the homies need me. If the homies need me, I will pull up. But you guys get one. You guys get one.
Album.
Did you already get it, or?
Yeah. You still have an album to drop. What are you talking about? He has his own album that he's doing, completely produced by himself, of course, with a bunch of different artists on it. That still has to come out. So Mr. Quittens over here ain't doing Quittens. Not happening.
He's not a quitter, bro.
Nah, you can't. I understand why he would want to. The industry is a joke, but nah.
Why do you want to leave the industry?
Man, it is a long.
Is it because like you have like another passion, like you want like to pursue something else, or
Pissing
is it
off
just
his
like you're
friends.
tired of everything else, like tired of the
Nah,
past?
I'm just tired of just the bad business, the politics, and the artists basically just trying to strong arm the situation completely, almost every time. So yeah, if you don't really have like a powerful manager or a powerful lawyer to where people in the industry, you know, like, oh, we can't like screw him over because he has this person in his corner
Yeah.
and this person is tied to X, Y, and Z, and that's
Yeah.
gonna mess up business for us. That's usually how it works.
I see. Yeah, because they're gonna try to take as much advantage as they can with.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they try to get away with murder sometimes, but I'm over it. I'm pulling albums down now.
Really?
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
That's crazy. So what are you gonna do now?
I am building Legos now.
Building Legos.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am building Legos. I am doing
the
Lego
dream.
content. But no, I'm also trying to get into tech.
Yeah.
That's really where the
We're starting Max Sauce Records. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
For us, by us. It's the new FUBU, and we're gonna run the game our way. Is what's gonna happen. No, I'm gonna quit too. It's all good.
Listen, there can only be one person from OE that's quitting, and that's me.
Everyone has.
I
to
mean,
still-
DJ, stay. You're
I have an
staying.
announcement too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Hey, listen,
Hey.
let's have a party. Let's do
yeah,
it.
let's do it, man. This is y'all thought this was gonna be a regular show.
That-
Oh no,
that-
no, no.
I did not expect any of this to come in, bro. That's crazy. And what about you, Cam Archer? What's going on with you?
Besides talking him out of quitting, just trying to do more shows
Yeah.
slightly because no offense to the IE, I love it here. I'm just tired of performing here all the time. But so I've been doing trying to do stuff out of state. I have my own podcast called the Do the Wrong Thing podcast. I was telling them earlier we're going to Houston for DreamCon. And the end of this month, we're gonna have a live podcast there. That should be pretty cool. Shout
Do
out
the
to
Wrong
RDC
Thing?
World. Yeah, Do the Wrong Thing is our podcast. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it got started because they were trying to shadow ban us from Clubhouse when it was popping. People got mad at me. Believe it or not, I don't say things that people like all the time. So me and my buddy started a podcast, and we've been
What happened to
since
Midnight
then.
Run?
What happened to Midnight? What happened to Midnight Run? That's a documentary in itself. I'll just say that people grow apart, and that happens often between people who are friends and they might not be friends anymore. And you're just kind of sitting there going, "We podding this week," so you just you deal with it, and then you go find on accident other like-minded people. You start another podcast by complete accident. And then there you are. I mean, the Midnight Run is still like on streaming until one of us gets to a bag and we got to pull it down before people find some stuff that sounds salacious. So you can still listen.
Just
to the old
any moment
episodes.
now, you know what I mean?
Any
Like,
moment now,
yeah.
it can happen. I'm holding my tongue as we speak.
That's just the politics of it all, like what we were talking about. So
Yeah, it's all there. So I mean, Midnight Run was kind of like it ran a lot longer than I thought it would, and we had some great moments. But yeah, it ran its course.
Okay.
So what do you guys, is this, from what I understand, all right, I don't know, is this your guys' like full-time like gig, like making music and like trying to get out there, like?
Well, if you've been down F Street before, I have a lovely assortment. Music was more his full-time gig. This man,
Full-time, huh?
yeah, he used to run like a Dominic Toretto kind of thing, getting Nike boxes out of the back of trucks, going underneath them with small vehicles, getting some shoes going. That's why his collection's so great. But yeah, then he just decided to make it full-time music. I have like a day job that I do on top of the music, so. And then just trying to outsource any way I can. I used to be a lot of like hosting and whatnot, through Clash and things of that nature. But with the shortage of venues, it's made it a little bit more difficult to do that.
Yeah.
So
Tell me
your
about
voice
it.
work, doing voiceover work for things,
Okay.
writing for others, just doing what I can to keep the creative muscle strong.
Nabi, and how long did it take for you to make it a full-time job without having like any other, work that needed to be done?
Honestly, it's actually a funny story because I graduated from school in 2016, so immediately I got back and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna hit the ground running. I'm just gonna start doing a bunch of sessions. So I did that. Probably not even a year, got my first major label placement on Drake's album, and it started to snowball a little bit, and then it just completely stopped and it died. Then I had to get a job. and I worked in that job for about a year, and then I ended up finding out I was on the Games album, and I had 2 joints on there, and they were like asking, like, we're trying to figure out the business, which never got handled because it's the game.
It's all about the game.
Yeah.
And how you play it.
But yeah, they were pretty much. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do X amount of dollars for each track, and then I thought about it. And I'm like, man, I'm getting paid, or I'm gonna get paid this much just for 2 joints, as opposed to working at Nike part time, making almost the same amount. I was like, yeah, let me just go ahead and just quit this job. So quit the job, and I just decided, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go do this full time.
No kidding. And then did it start a snowball effect again?
Oh yeah, during the pandemic, I was getting records out. I was to the
Because you had nothing else to do, right?
Yeah, it was actually interesting though, just seeing how everything played out during the pandemic. Because even though a lot of albums got pushed back, everybody already had a lot of stuff in motion, so they were just like, we have to drop it anyway. So because of that, I ended up having a few joints that actually released earlier than they were supposed to. And so that just continued on, like, for the next couple of years after that.
How did you get your first big one?
All right, so I have a story for literally every placement.
That's probably the craziest story, though.
Yeah.
Actually, my telekinesis is crazy.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
yeah.
This is still
so.
crazy.
All right, so my first placement was my first major label placement with an artist.
Yeah.
All right, so Drake. My boy.
Casual, just Drake.
Yeah, my boy.
Just Drake.
My boy Tafashe was just on Twitter one day, and he used to follow this producer. He's part of this duo called Wallace Lane. So he was just posting like, "Oh, who has sounds? I need sounds." And then he was like, "Oh, my boy Nabian got sounds." And so he linked us up. This was like 2014. He linked us up, and we went all the way to Calabasas to his studio out there. And we sort of just like, I just gave him a bunch of sounds. We didn't even make any beats that day. And so we like kind of kept in contact, but not really. And then when I graduated, I ended up having, I thought I had this record with Tink. Yeah, they ended up, I still was on the credits, but they didn't use the version that I worked on, but they still gave me credit for it. And so he had hit, the dude from Wallace Lane hit me up, and he's like, "Oh, seeing that you got one on Tink, like, let's work together. Like, I'm working on Logic's album or whatever." So we just kept working on a bunch of stuff. And one day his brother, who's the other half of Wallace Lane, he comes in and he's like, "Oh, we're working on stuff for this kid named Geshi. I need some loops." And I was like, okay. So later that night, I went back home, made 4 or 5 quick melody ideas, sent it over to him. He emails me back like a Walmart version of Hotline Bling. And I was just like, all right, whatever. Didn't think nothing of it. I'm in Norway and the next year, and I get a call, and they're just being like real cryptic about like, who we have a record with, and then they ended up saying Drake's name. And I was like, wait, we have a record with Drake? I'm like, this is crazy, because like in my mind, I'm just thinking, okay, in order for me to get to Drake, I'm probably gonna have to work another 4 or 5 years. But it was literally my first major label placement. And pretty much how that happened was they sent that idea to G-Rai. G-Rai told them, take the drums off and just keep the melody. So then they sent him the melody. G-Rai did the drums, and he ended up getting it to Drake. And G-Rai is Party Next Door's main producer, or was one of his main producers at that time. And so that's pretty much how that happened.
Really?
Yeah.
That's basically from Twitter.
Basically from a Twitter interaction that the homie ended up coming across.
Yeah.
From nothing
That's
to something.
crazy.
Nothing's into something. Man. That's crazy.
Like everyone everyone wishes for that one big break or that one big moment, And that was a butterfly effect to the fullest, for sure.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, this is like one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. So that really plays a factor. That he doesn't fall into those moments of the butterfly effect without making sure he's got a chance to be in every possible situation to make that happen.
There's also that saying, like, you get what you deserve.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not just like you just threw some crazy...
Yeah.
He's like, what you trying to say, bro? That's
Clock
crazy.
in at 7. And, yeah, no, this dude, he works really, really hard. So all the opportunities he's gotten, it never surprises me because he's just always working, always driving wherever he's got to go, making it work.
Yeah. When did you guys meet each other?
2013.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was at Jake Asai's crib.
yeah, Jake Size house.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you guys started making music together since then, or
No,
I said no. Because the
that,
last
that was
person I
when
hit
we
up-
met. Like, we had an idea of a song we were gonna do together. Then that's on this album. It
Okay.
was literally like we were in the studio. I don't know what Jay probably went to go get some ranch dressing for a pizza or something. I don't know where he went. But we were in the studio. He was like going over stuff for what was originally supposed to be whatever the conceptual idea of an OE album was.
Yeah.
We were in the studio together and he's like going through beats and like going through samples and stuff like that. And he plays a loop. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, go back to that. I think I have something for this. And he goes back and I spit him this verse I had in my phone.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yo, spit that again. We like looped it. And we were like, yo, we got to put this on the album, make it like an interlude.
Yeah.
And then some stuff happened. We couldn't do it at the time. And the album didn't get done anyway. But that was like the first time we ever like started trying to do stuff. I don't think we ever really made like real progress on like making songs together until like 2017. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like everything else would just be like, oh, we're on this record. Okay, now you made it dope. It was that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the album's called Banner Boys, right? And that's your first project together.
The first, yes.
Yeah. Impossible.
So some of the songs from Banner Boys have those been since 2017 or
Yeah.
okay?
There's one from 2013. And
Oh.
there's like literally the first thing we ever did, we put it on this album. And then around like 2017, we were in the studio. I still don't know why we were even there. We were in the studio that he had, Golden West at the time.
Oh yeah.
And we did Comeback Kids. We did Banners. And I want to say, well, you hate Dre Day, but there's a song called Dre Day that didn't make the album. That I think we made more beats than that.
Yeah.
And we like left the studio like we should do a project. And then I did some stuff as like some roughs. It might have just been because were you doing the hooks at the time for people?
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, that might have been why.
Yeah, I was trying to get Cardi B hooks. I was trying to get Kevin Gates. I was trying to get
I was writing hooks for
Yeah.
all these different styles of people. So I'm
a
just like,
bunch
yeah.
of different people.
Yeah, some of those was heat, I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, we did a bunch of different stuff, and then afterwards we were like, we should just kind of like mess around, and then we were like, we should do this, we do a project. And that was in 2017. And it took till now, but you know, we got it done.
Yeah.
You know, when I was talking to like Jay Kasai and like other artists, like they don't put out any of their stuff until like years later.
Correct.
Like why?
Because we're stupid. Like
Because the people ain't ready.
you know, artist brain is like, I can't wait to drop that when it's time.
Right.
It's gonna go crazy. Like there's no it's time. Just put the music out. But in our heads, it's like, yo, we gotta wait for this and this when the moon is in the third axis of the like, you know, we're trying to wait for this imaginary great moment.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna put the work in to promote it, you just drop it now. Obviously, just don't drop it and then walk away if you think it's special. But you should probably drop it. I'm guilty of this too. I'm definitely sitting on like 50 to 60 records that should have come
Wow.
out already. Yeah.
So maybe one day when you're out of the game too, you can just like just get out of your pocket like if someone needs it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If somebody wants to actually rap well, just let me know and I'll throw you some verses and you'll be good. You know?
Has there been any songs or like any albums where you're like, oh, this is like the hardest thing we ever made, and it turns out like, because like when like people make videos and stuff and post on Instagram, they think this is gonna be like the most views, but it's not, and then it's like something that they just like nonchalantly threw out and it just was a big hit. You guys experienced that?
What would that be like
Definitely.
for you? Yeah, what would that be like for you?
So I was in the studio. My boy Super Mario, shout out to him. Mario. He brought me into this session with this girl named Bree Steves. Back when she was signed to Atlantic Records. The A&R was like, yeah, you know, we need this big worldly pop record, you know, for Bree, this and that. But they're playing me her other stuff, and she's like rapping and singing over like soul sample beats and trap stuff and just hip hop stuff. And so I'm just like, all right, I see what you're trying to do, but what does she actually want to do?
Right.
And so she tries to cut to like the little pop record or whatever, and it just wasn't the vibe. And then Mario just looked at me and he's like, bro, just like play some beats, please, something. And so I'm going through my catalog, and I skipped past the beat, and she was like, wait, go back to that one. And I was like, this?
You don't
Like,
want to listen to this one.
yeah, and I'm playing it, like, mind you, I didn't even finish the beat. It was literally like a minute and 20 seconds. And everybody's expression in the studio, like the whole energy just changed. And she was like, that's the one. And like everybody just started freestyling melodies and ideas. They were like, load it up. Got in the booth. They started putting their ideas down. Next thing you know, it's like the lead single on her next project.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like, this one?
Literally. Shout out my dog Bree Steves.
That's pretty cool.
Shout out to Brie. Hope she's doing
And then,
well.
like, what about you? Have you had any experiences like that?
Every project. Every project, man. Every time I'm like,
song.
I mean, even for this project in particular, like when we did the release, like the listening, right? In my head, before Death from Above came on, I was like, dang, we about to bring the energy down.
Yeah.
People are not going to want to hear this after we just played this Ball record with Curtis. Everybody's loving that record. I'm like, all right, we'll get back to these rapidy raps. And everybody loves Death from Above. And I was just like really surprised by that. So, I mean, that,
Yeah.
SS2, I thought no, I was going to take that off the album. I was like, people aren't going to like this song. I'm going to take it.
You're
And-
insane. SS2 is crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, this is a for me record. People are gonna
Yeah.
like this song, and they love that record. Like, it happens every project to me.
I
Every
feel,
time.
I feel like it's because it's like for you and not for them. Like they almost like feel that more.
I
you know?
guess so. Yeah, because I was like, they're not gonna like this record. And even back to Cocomania, Kasai be like, you should take this off the album, man. You should take these. So like, not Nirvana, you should take that off the album. Ronin Zone, you should take that off the album. I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. And they're two of the most popular songs I've ever made.
Yeah.
When the first time Kasai heard Amapola, he told me this album's gonna suck. This is not a good song. I was like, okay.
But you know he's a perfectionist too.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Yeah. So look at me now. No, yeah. But yeah, he did not like that song when I first spit it for him. It's pretty funny. But yeah, it happens every time, man. I think the only time it hasn't happened was Inside Voices, but pretty much everything I thought was gonna land on Inside Voices landed. There wasn't anything that I was like, dang, y'all like this. It was. I guess it was just more so y'all like my pain this much. So overall, but
My pain.
y'all really like my pain. But other than that, no, it's always like every project except that one. It's like, dang, I can't believe people gravitating towards this song.
Yeah. So is Sailor Moon still your biggest song?
I say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nabian, what's your song that everyone's like, oh, play it, like whenever you're.
I don't think I have one of those because I have.
Well, you have so many.
Yeah, it's like I have so many records
I
I
have so
produced.
many.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Where
like
do I
I don't.
start?
What's one that you're like most known for? Like people go up to you like and ask you the most, maybe.
Randomly, this G Perico record.
Really?
Yeah, Get My Stacks. Like all the LA producers, like whenever I run into them and I tell them my name, they're like, "Oh, you did Get My Stacks for G Perico." Like this was like 2017.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, it's my dog. Yeah, it's the homie. But I would like to be known for. Honestly, I don't even know what I would like to be known for. It's.
You don't have to say Banner Boys. It's okay.
I mean, Banner Boys is still new.
Yeah.
It's still new. People
known for it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, because right now I feel like Telekinesis is really like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess Telekinesis would be the one.
Okay.
yeah, he did that for Travis. So that's pretty crazy. That's like basically just everything you did is the whole,
The whole beat.
the whole beat is here you go.
It's
It's
even
just me.
crazier how the business went down, but hey, we can save that for another time.
Does he sound jaded to you? Does he sound jaded? No.
Yeah.
So what's your guys' new heights in life? I know you want to go travel and like perform out of state. Is there, or maybe even out of the country, right? Mm-hmm. Is there like
wanna go
a
to
certain
Japan,
spot
for
or
sure.
location that you really like dream of?
I feel like I could go to Japan and be like, with the content of like a lot of my music, I could go to Japan and it would go crazy. I feel like just going to Europe in general. Europe
Oh,
really
yeah.
appreciates like quality rap. So if I could get a foothold into Europe, then I wouldn't be working a regular job. I know that for a fact.
Just save up money and just go to Europe, bro, for that
Yeah.
one trip and just all or nothing.
I got a buddy who shout out to Avery Harding. He tours Australia almost every year. He does like some shows out there. So I'm trying to like be like, yo, next time you go, let me know. I'll save up the bread. I'll make it work. I'll go because I feel like I could really get a foothold just going overseas, and I would love to like do like UK type stuff.
All it
Asia.
takes is like
Yeah.
one person, you know. You meet like one
Absolutely.
friend to like get you locked in, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, but you just got to, like we were saying earlier, you got to make those opportunities possible for yourself by actually getting out there and finding them. You know.
So what opportunities are you taking to make it possible?
I'm trying to be more active in the social media game. You know, I'm trying to post more visuals and stuff like that. Just it helps to gain that foothold. and also just trying to book more shows. Almost every show I tried to book out of state in the past month has fallen through in some weird way. But I keep trying to make it work. Just trying to do the West Coast right now. I've got some opportunities to go to the East Coast. Just trying to find the right space on the map to do that as far as time goes with the schedule. But yeah, but definitely getting overseas, getting out of the country to perform in Japan would be crazy.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, you can go to like any karaoke bar there and just be like, "Hey, play this track."
I got this song. I got so many songs that I would go crazy out of the country.
They'll probably love you too, bro. Like,
they
like your energy and everything like that.
Yeah.
You were talking about how they appreciate quality rap. Like, what makes a rap song like quality?
Me. It's just a different level of they appreciate more so. I'm not as my flash comes in the dexterity of lyricism that I have, as opposed to just my overall aura or swag, whatever you want to call it. It's there, but I don't rely on it as much as look at the words. So I focus on that more than I do trying to be just overall cool. I'm cool because I do this so well. So I feel like when you go overseas, they have more of the appreciation for more of like 90s rap, things of that nature, where it was more so about like bars and things like that, as opposed to maybe not so much the materialistic bling era rap. They're not as big on that, and I love both, but I do both well. But if y'all want to hear that one, I got you. I'll take care of that for you. You know what I mean? So that's
yeah. But also you perform for so long too. People notice that too.
Yeah, no, I am one of the best performers that I've ever met, so I think I'm doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I think I still got the performance muscle is well flexed, and I've done it so much that it's like second nature to me. I think that's one of the most annoying questions. You nervous for your show? No.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, like I always tell people when people say like, "Oh, I'm nervous," like it's the same body reaction as like being excited.
You're
It's like,
excited, yeah.
You just gotta like convince yourself. Like instead of saying you're nervous, you're excited. But like even sometimes, bro, like I haven't been on my show in like 3 weeks, and when the song started playing, like I got the jitters. I got excited. I was like, man, it's been a while since I've been on the show. Like like I still get that, and I've been doing it for like, I mean, not as long as you guys. I've been doing it for like 4 years, but
Still a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But I like that feeling where it's like, okay, like it's showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. You definitely, like, when you first get on stage, you kind of feel that. I'm kind of chasing the dragon. I was just talking about that the other day. I forget who asked me when I did my first Lupe show. That was like the ultimate like high of like not knowing there were so many people out there when I walked out. I like just kind of put my bag down and I looked up and it was just like waves of people.
You're like, yo,
and
it's
I was
crazy.
like, in my head, I was like, I'm about to kill this. I got so excited. But yeah, that's I'm just trying to taste that high, like for performances. I feel like I gain the most, attention and eyes to further what I'm doing when people see me perform. So I feel like that's one of my bread and butter things to do.
And you've been performing for a long time, like.
Yeah.
So so my question for you is, of all the artists that you meet, like whether it's big people or like local artists, what's the best piece of critique you've ever gotten to like change?
Was that for me or for him?
Both of you guys.
Both of you guys.
What was the question again?
What's the best piece of advice or critique that you've gotten from someone that you've worked with that really stuck with you?
What did Hove tell you in that dinner y'all had?
Oh
Remember that?
yeah. Yeah. Basically, he told me I should have took the money. That was bad advice. And I was like, damn,
It's delicious.
see? Yeah. Great dinner though, but
Yeah, the meal was amazing.
honestly, probably the advice from Firstborn. It's also this other
To wear
producer.
socks? To wear socks.
Yeah, make sure you have a new pair of Toms every week. Nah. Yeah, that's my dog. Firstborn is given too many gems, honestly. Like, I'm really just trying to think of which one. It's so many. Just everything from not. All right, here's one thing that always stuck with me. So I remember when I first started working with him in like 2016, we had already known each other for years. Oh Gosh used to be signed to him years prior. But he always used to ask me like, oh, so what do you want out of this music thing? And I'm like, oh, I want a Grammy. He's like, okay, and then what? And I was like, I want to work with some of my favorite artists. All right, and then what? And it always used to bother me because I'm like, man, what more is there? Like, besides, you know, having all the accolades and working with my favorite artists. But he always sees the bigger picture in everything. And, like, just me working with him, like, I'm starting to sort of see how he operates.
Yeah.
And so now whenever he asks me, it's like I have an actual solid answer. And that's really to bridge Ghana to the U.S. as far as the music goes, and really just build an empire, more so build up Ghana's musical infrastructure because they don't really have one. So I think as of the last couple of years, that's pretty much been my goal.
Wow, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
What about you, Cam?
I would say they first off, the first great piece of advice I got was from Art Bars. Shout out to Art Bars. I just did my first show, and you know, whenever you're feeling yourself, you think you did amazing. Like he didn't even like greet me with a "yo, great show." Like he dabbed me up. He was like, "You need to move more." I was like, "What?" He was like, "You need to move more on stage. You didn't move enough." And that was our first interaction. Like he just came up to me, like, "You need to move around more," and then him just coming up to me and saying, we got to work. Let's work in the studio. But he was the first person that, you know, he was, "Hey, yo, we got to work." He literally hit me that night. "All right, so what day are you free?" "All right, come to the studio." Like I was like, "I don't have a whip right now. I'll pick you up." Yeah. You just come in and like work on songs. Like, you need to put different flows here. You got to see how your voice changes here. Like he gave me a lot of free game when I first started out.
Okay.
So Art Bars was definitely a fountain of knowledge when I first
He kept it
started.
real with you.
Oh yeah, Art didn't. He doesn't play. He doesn't play around.
Because everyone else is like, "Oh man, good stuff, like good show."
Yeah,
He
they'll
was
blow
like,
smoke. They'll blow smoke for sure, but he was not going to do that.
That's cool.
And I respected that gratefully. That was very helpful to me early on.
You know,
So we have a 5-minute break.
we do.
We do.
Just kidding. Yeah, I guess we do.
Yeah.
we go over it, but that's because we're having a good time here. So
Yeah.
All right, you guys, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, but when we come back, we're gonna continue talking to Nabian and Cam Archer. You guys listen to Whatever Works on KCAA. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Here's a progressive idea I picked up from the unlikeliest of sources: corporate CEOs. For decades, these chieftains of our economic order have been steadily implementing a very visionary process for establishing corporate wage levels. The essence of it is this: let workers set their own pay. Since the 1970s, when the idea began taking hold in corporate America, pay levels have zoomed up by more than 1,000%. Well, not for you. This set-your-own-pay movement has only been available to top corporate executives, whose median paychecks now top $16 million a year. But since it's been such a boon for this test group, I say it's time to expand the no-hassle compensation concept to all employees. This would greatly boost grassroots purchasing power, economic growth, and fairness for all. Oh my God, no, squawk corporate apologists, rushing to say that technically CEOs do not directly set their pay. Rather, the bosses have attached their earnings to their corporation's ever-rising stock prices. Thus, astronomical rewards go to those who obsessively focus on jacking up the price of their own stock, even though that's a selfishly narrow and false measure of a corporation's performance. Also, stock price is no indicator of a CEO's worthiness. Even bosses who are blockheads can still get a boost simply because they've rigged the system to hitch a free ride on inflated stock value. This is Jim Hightower saying, still, if it's good enough for them, why not an equal deal for working stiffs who actually deliver the products and services that give a corporation some true value? I say each worker should get the same percentage increase in pay that the top honcho takes. It's a very simple process, and it's only fair. The Hightower Radio Lowdown is made possible by you subscribers to Jim Hightower's Lowdown on Substack. Find us at jimhightower.substack.com.
In these trying times, many people are depressed and lost because the future of our society is up in the air. If you're turning to substance abuse because you are feeling there is no hope, we have a way for you to see the light. SAD, or Stop Abusing Drugs, is a nonprofit organization that will help you at no cost to you stop abusing drugs. Founded by Tony Navarchi, SAD will refer you to the top detox doctors in your area. SAD will pay every and any cost for you, including doctor visits, counseling, and medications. If you need help, SAD is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you or a loved one needs help, or if you have a suggestion or idea for Tony, you can reach out to him by calling 844-493-3386. That's 844-493-3386. Or email Tony at tony@saddetox.com. That's Tony at saddetox.com.
Tune into The Ferran Dozier Show. Music marks place and time, the soundtrack to life. Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on KCAA Radio. Playing the hottest hits and the coolest conversations. Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on The Ferran Dozier Show. With an array of music, talk, sports, community outreach, and veteran resources. With hits from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today's hits. The Ferran Dozier Show on KCAA Radio on all available streaming platforms and 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. The Ferran Dozier Show on KCAA Radio.
Was your car involved in an accident or just need help with dents? All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers. In business for over 30 years. Their highly trained staff and certified technicians and friendly staff are the best in the business and treat each car as if it was their own. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers are family owned and offer state-of-the-art equipment and tools to ensure optimum results. They use the latest technology in computerized color matching and specialize in frame repairs. With their modern laser measuring systems, they're OEM certified, and they have 4 locations to serve you. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers offer rental car assistance with free drop-off and pickup services too, and their work has a lifetime guarantee. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers are in Norco, Eastvale, Moreno Valley, and in Fontana. Call them at 1-800-61-MAGIC. That's 1-800-61-MAGIC. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers. 1-800-61-MAGIC. All Magic Paint and Auto Body says, drive carefully.
Feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA. If you haven't listened to the past 30 minutes, you should definitely go back and listen. We're on YouTube. Now we are on Kick and Rumble. And so we are here with Cam Archer and Nabian. My name is Kyle Kerrigan.
And I'm Sam Works.
Yeah, so thank you guys for listening to KCAA. By the way, if you guys have any questions for Cam or Nabian, you could call in at 909-383-1000.
Yeah, this is going to be a short half of the show just because we started the break late. So we only got about like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's like 25.
We'll see. Yeah, but, before we went on break, we were talking a lot about Nabian's growth and Cam Archer's desires and all this stuff. And one thing I wanted to point out, what Nabian said is when your homie was like, oh, and then what? And it's just like another layer of like, and then what? And it's like, bro, it's crazy because like a lot of times I ask myself like, why? And then I figure that out, and then I ask myself why again. I just kind of like see how many layers I can peel back on the reason of like my big why. And a lot of times, like Kyle knows this, man. Every time I go on my show, especially if it's just him and I, like I get very like philosophical and like very like it's all about reflection for me, And it's like I don't really see or think too much about like the future. I'm always like, okay, why? But your homie is asking you like, and then what? Like he's looking forward, and for the majority of my life, I'm always like looking back, and as soon as you brought that up, I was like, I just kind of like figured that out about myself. I was like, damn, that's pretty crazy. Now I gotta start thinking forward now, because I do like a lot of self-reflecting. Like, ironically, it was May 1st. I started like doing like a morning journal. Like I wake up and how do I feel? Like, do I remember my dream? Like, like all this stuff. And I just started like doing a lot of like more like self-reflecting, And I tell people all the time, like, when was the last time you self-reflected? Like, do you even know what you're doing? You know what I mean? Like, in life, how you feel, like, morally speaking, like, spiritually speaking, and, like, where you going to go? Like, where are you heading? Like, a lot of people, they just go day by day and just, like, they just keep it pushing. But you don't even know what direction you're going to, or even why. So, like, this is why I love having this podcast, so I can, like, not only, like, figure you guys out, not really figure you guys out, but like understand you guys more, but also like understand myself more.
Yeah.
So thanks guys for being on my show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
I seen you guys a couple times at other people's shows. Actually, the first time was Big Tokes. Like it was his performance.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, put on the show.
That was the Warehouse show, right?
It was the Warehouse show. Yeah, it was
right,
pretty
yeah.
cool. It was actually my first experience going to like an underground show like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. And me and Kyle were like, we're in the back, and then Kyle was like, oh, bro, that's Kim. Like, oh, that's Nabi. And like, oh, that's Big Tokes. I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah,
Now it's time to like know what's going on, like
Yeah.
at least locally and stuff. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I never really got to see you guys perform. And like, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you perform at all? Or you just make beats?
I'll do showcases, like like sort of like how Selection will tour and like play their music. I do that from time to time.
Time to time. Is that something that you get excited about, or is it just like another part of it?
It's a little bit of both. Like sometimes I'm really excited if I've been like working on new stuff, or if I just feel inspired, like, oh, I got this show coming up, I'm about to do some new remixes and stuff, then like I'm excited. But sometimes if I'm just already just in work mode, then it sort of just is like, all right, this is just another thing that like I'm doing along the way, and it sort of just feels like just more work.
Yeah. What question for both of you guys? What was your guys' last like trophy? You know what I'm saying?
The one that we bought for the album.
Technically speaking, yes.
Technically speaking. The last trophy that you won, you just won Producer of the Year, right?
Well, I mean by trophy, like big success.
Oh, what was your last big success?
I guess the Grammy nomination.
Yeah. Which one? I mean, really? Seriously.
The one, all right.
The most recent one? Or?
Yeah. So this was probably the most important one. So me and Firstborn, we did a songwriting camp in Ghana in 2022. We flew out some Netflix execs, a Warner Brothers exec, some songwriters, and housed everybody, had everything laid out for them. All they had to do was just hop on the plane. And basically we did a cultural exchange. And so during this camp, we had the studio booked for 6 days, and we were working with some of the local talent out there in Ghana. We made about 40 records in 6 days.
Wow.
And one of those records ended up being nominated for a Grammy last year, which we ended up going to the awards for this year. For best, it was Rocky Daoni Rise. Me and Firstborn produced that record. Shout out my dog Yanni and Andre on guitar for that. For best global music performance.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, congratulations. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. What about you, Cam?
I woke up this morning, first and foremost. Last accomplishment that I'm like, I'm a down player of my own accomplishments anyway. So I'd be lying if I said I remember most of them. I'd rather just be bigging up after my friend's accomplishments and be like, yo, my friend did this. Yeah. So if I'm being honest, I don't know, man. My last like big accomplishment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't like. What have I done? I don't really like keep stock in them. I mean, I've been fortunate to be a part of some big stuff. We did the whole the Best Shot. We did the soundtrack. You know, that was
okay.
the LeBron James produced TV show. We did a whole soundtrack. It was on ESPN. It was we did the whole soundtrack for that. It got released through Warner.
That's pretty big. Right there.
Yeah, that was
fire.
Yeah.
That
That
was
was cool.
What about the Mike Shinoda record?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, yo, thanks for reminding me. Dead serious talk. I don't be thinking about none of my stuff. Yeah, I do have a record produced by Mike Shinoda, so that's really cool. That Mike
really
Shinoda thought what I did in honor of Linkin Park was dope enough to then flip it and make a beat for it.
Really cool.
So that was really fun. That's a major accomplishment actually for me. As far as for me, that's a huge deal. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember, I forgot what the saying was, but it was like, oh, basically, like, your last accomplishment was, like, your last accomplishment. And I was, like, thinking to myself, like, what have I done recently that was, like a trophy to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, getting my real estate license, like, 3 years ago, like, that was big for me, you know? And then it was, like, I feel like my accomplishments kind of, like, spread out over the years a little further and further. I'm like, man, I gotta keep growing, you know?
Yeah.
And so now talking about the past, moving to the future, like, what's your guys' next big accomplishment that you guys want to succeed in?
Legos? How's that?
Yeah, I actually finished building the 8 Lego sets that I have chilling at my girl's crib.
You gotta start with one at least.
Yeah, nah.
He does a lot of them, so it's not. He's just stacking them up, really.
Yeah, it's like I keep buying them, and it just sucks because it's like now I'm in the mode where it's like, okay, I have to make content while I'm making Legos. So it's like if I don't feel like filming and editing, then it's like I'm not making Legos or I'm not building Legos. So I'm trying to like sort of just break out of that. But
is Legos like therapeutic for you or?
I mean, it's just I've been trying to figure out what hobby I should have outside of music, and I've tried video games. I literally just started going back down like all the things I liked before music took over my life, and randomly it just ended up being Legos.
I like to say that Legos are like our generation's puzzles.
Yeah.
Like, you know, older people like, I have this 1,000 piece puzzle. And they have like a giant kitchen table just for this puzzle, of like a puppy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like Legos is like our generations. And especially for generations like mine who couldn't afford Legos when they were a kid. Like, I could never afford Legos. I just barely bought my first set recently to do, because I never could afford it. My mom gave me a little suitcase of Connects. That's all I ever had. Connects.
I remember those.
Never had Legos bought for me ever. Those things are expensive. So now it's like I'm making up for that childhood hole, you know.
Trauma.
That's
For sure. For sure, bro.
Okay, Michael.
Yeah, you know. No pet rats, but lots of Legos. Lots of Legos. Yeah.
That's crazy. And you know, Legos can get so expensive.
They're so
I had no idea how expensive they were
They're so
until I started
expensive.
buying them last year, and I'm like, there's no way my parents were spending money on
Bro,
this.
they're collectibles at this point, dog, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Like,
ridiculous how expensive. I bought like the first one I got was like a small one. Like it was like I was like, let me get the 3 and up one so I don't feel stupid. Right? And so I grabbed like a small one. It was like $15. I was like, how is this expensive? Like that's insane.
it's just plastic.
It's
you know?
crazy.
Yeah. No, I went to Barnes & Noble. I like Barnes & Noble.
Love it as well.
Yeah, and they had like these Legos, and it was like, one was like for like $150, $160. It was like flowers or something.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like I can't imagine getting like a huge like massive like Star Wars Lego set or something.
Yeah, they got
you know?
the big one that's like Jabba's ship.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, I know that's probably like a couple hundred minimum for that.
Yeah, at least.
I think the most I've seen a Lego set for was probably like $6.99, and it was one of the Star. I wish I was into Star Wars.
Oh yeah, no,
like
I met a guy who had the giant. I want to say he did the Death Star one, but he paid like $1,000 for the set.
Oh, yep.
It's like in another. It's like it's in another bedroom that he has
that's
like the
crazy.
giant Death Star.
His own bedroom. Room. But why aren't you not into Star Wars, or why do you?
I don't know. I just don't like those kind of movies. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Moonlight, Harry Potter. Like
What kind of movies do you like?
I like 90s hood movies. Menace to Society. Boy in the Hood.
They don't make Legos for Ricky in an alley.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Legos like that, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
But 90s movies hit, like, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Star Wars came out in the 90s too. You know what I'm saying? 99?
Yeah,
Phantom
yeah,
Menace?
The
No?
Phantom Menace.
Yeah. I think Darth Maul was a conflicted figure like many of the hood characters in the 90s.
Yeah.
I seen one Star Wars movie. I think it was Attack of the Clones, maybe?
That's a bad one to watch. I'll tell you.
I actually, anyways, I took this girl out to the movies, and I was like, oh, they have like, because I watch Star Wars. I'm not like a Star Wars nerd. Like, I feel like if you watch Star Wars, like, you either love it or you don't, you know? And I just watched it as a kid, so I like it. And they had the third one, which is the one when Anakin turns into Darth Vader. That's the coolest one out of all
Spoilers.
of them. And they played it at the movie theaters. And I was like, hey, we're going to go watch it, because she'd never seen Star Wars before. I was like, the only one you got to watch is this one. So I took her to the movie theaters, and like for me, it was like nostalgic, you know, like in the movie theaters, I was like, oh man, this is crazy. And like, I haven't seen it in over like 20 years, but now I understand like the whole like storyline. I'm like, this is crazy. Like now I get why like people like geek out over this stuff, you know?
I need to, you know, I might just try and watch like the first 3 Star Wars movies.
Chief. Star Wars is okay. If you it's just you got to turn your brain off a little bit, because you're going to start asking a lot of questions, and and they give you answers that just don't suffice sometimes. So just enjoy the ride. It's a nice little roller coaster ride. Just enjoy the ride.
Like, so like the biggest thing for me is like in the third one, he talks about, he was like, it kind of like ties into Spider-Man, like great power comes, you know, great responsibility. But basically it's like, okay, so the good guys, like you have all this power that you can unlock, but the good guys don't, because like you get greedy, you know, like with money and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, we have all this power, but we're going to control ourselves, and we're not even going to see what our full potential is, you know? And the dark side was like, look, you can save lives. Like let's unlock all your power. Like, let's see how strong you really are, you know? And then like Anakin was like, he was torn between the two because he was the chosen one. And then they were like, we can't make you a master. So he got upset. He was like, you guys won't even let me become a master? So then he turned to the dark side, basically, to like trying to save his wife, but like him having all that power like is what really kind of like killed his wife.
She died of a broken heart.
Yeah,
bro. Watch your kids.
You just got bored with twins.
Imagine if they gave Goku that storyline.
Oh my God.
Like, you're not allowed to reach your full potential because you're a good guy.
He would probably
fight whoever told him that. Right. Like, if Palpatine was like, I'll tell you the story about this Darth Plagueis. He was like, where is he? Plagueis. Because it's like he's dead. Well, who killed him?
It's like, how do you unlock? You know, like, oh, you have more potential, but it's like, okay, but how do I get that? You know, like, and that's where like I kind of like think about like, you know, like there's some like in business too, like a lot of business is bad business. You know what I mean? And a lot of businesses done bad things in order to get to the top, you know? Yeah. And I think about that all the time.
No, the music industry has basically been built on that.
Yeah.
The music industry is literally built on the back of bad business. It's 100%. There's no other way around it. Yeah.
And then people see it as good. And it's like,
yeah, they think, oh, you got a record deal. You're doing great. No.
Not exactly, you know?
No. Right. You might want to read that fine print.
Anyways, we only got 2 minutes. I told you this is going to be a short half. I feel like we only talked about Star Wars and Legos just now, but
that's what we did.
We only got 2 minutes. Is there anything you guys want to like say, catch up on, or close out on?
If it ain't ratchet, it ain't right.
Meanwhile, we just put out a boom bap album. So yeah, Banner Boy is out now on all platforms. If you would like to support us directly and purchase the album the old-fashioned way, you can do so via even.biz. Just look for Banner Boys. Just look for 2 smiley-faced black men in a cartoon form in a vehicle, or you can just go on streaming and do it that way. If you just want to, listen on streaming, you can. Then you can decide you want to buy it. We also have merch available: shirts, hats, like so. Totes.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, we got all that good
the
stuff.
album's also on the iTunes store as well.
Yeah, so you can buy it off the iTunes store as well. Buy my album, please.
Please.
You said please, guys.
I don't want a job.
I hate working.
All right, you guys. Well, I guess we're gonna close it up. I just want to thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate y'all. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. I'll see you guys next week. Don't forget our show starts at 6 p.m. instead of 4 now. So happy Sunday, y'all.
Never stress. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get
We supply the words. You paint the picture. KCAA.
Hill's Country Kitchen is now open for business. Hill's Country Kitchen, the newest restaurant in Yucaipa at the corner of 15th and Yucaipa Boulevard, across from Crafton Hills College. Located in the collection at Crafton Hills Shopping Center, along with Laser Legacy, the original Rosie's. Hill's Country Kitchen, where you're always welcome. Hills has the recipe for